See the moonlights on the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Tallawah TV is in the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Got a corner on the telephone. Yeah, this is the Ocean of the Messenger, and you're watching Tallawah TV with the host and best. So Davis, take it away.
Right, Mr. White, how are you? How's your Sunday going?
My Sunday's fine. I slept good last night knowing that my team is taking a 1-0 lead into the second leg of the semi-final. So my
I
Sunday's
bet
good.
I bet you did. Well, I bet you did. We're gonna get into all of that. We're gonna talk about, of course, the 1-0 lead against 𝗘𝗫𝗖𝗟𝗑, which took place Saturday, which would have been yesterday for many of us. So we're gonna talk about that later on. But first, I really wanted to get to know you, get to know a little bit about you, your journey into football, what keeps you going, and so on. So how did you get yourself into football? What persuaded you to pick up a ball?
Well, when I was younger, my family used to live together then, and my uncle was a goalkeeper. He played for the Uni Park. I would always go to his games on a Saturday. There was one season where he won the leading goal scorer in the Super League as the goalkeeper because he's a dead ball specialist. And the things that I saw him do, I always wanted to do that and do it better. And then I went, I started to do it with my friends over the field, and then I realized that it's something that I could do properly, I could do well. So I started to train, and my uncle taught me the necessary stuff. So yeah,
How did you get that nickname Iker? Because that's the nickname that they give you in your community, correct?
yeah, because when I was the first time that I captained the Union Park under 13, they were saying my teammates were saying I'm like Cassius now, and then I went to school and I was the captain for the Manning Club team, and then the name just stick. But they don't call me Cassius as a scum by his first name.
Interesting. It's very interesting. And we all know by now, you've been around the national setup. We've seen you growing from strength to strength, I should say. But you're also a Manchester United fan. So how did that come about? Sorry about yesterday's loss. Probably that was a last minute goal that hit you on the chin. So sorry about
With
that. So how did you
with
come to be a Red Devil?
um really and truly, it's just Ronaldo. I never knew anything about football, and I always heard my friends growing up talking about, yo, Chris, they're gonna do this today, I'm gonna do that today. And then I just started to gravitate to it, started to watch the games, and I said, all right, this is my team. Even after Ronaldo left, I still stayed as, this is my team. This is where I want to be. I enjoy it here. But for the past few years, it's been rough. That when I see we lose to Aston Villa and Brighton Hove and those teams, I'm not surprised. Those are the games that I know Manchester United would always lose. But the big games, they will turn up. I don't know what is wrong when they play the smaller teams. They just decide that all right, we can give it what we today. Nothing
Luckily
wrong
for
with them.
you, luckily for you, your fellow countryman Leon Bailey wasn't available last night. Because if he was yesterday, then things
I
might have been a
wanted, I,
little
wa-
bit drastic.
I wanted him to play.
Yeah.
I wanted him to play because he's been showing his class since he's arrived in the league. And when I saw him spinning Rudiger, I wanted him to do Maguire a little bit of that. Well,
How much of an inspiration is someone like Bailey to yourself? Because you are of similar age group, obviously Jamaican born, and he's now in the Premier League. Is that a steady rise previously in the Bundesliga? So, how much of an inspiration is he to you?
well, you see, what I always do is that whenever I get the chance to go to be a part of the national setup, whenever we travel and everything, the overseas based players come in, I always look and try to learn something from each and every player because they're all professionals. So there's always something to learn for me as a youngster. So I even notice how they move and what they post on social media. Those stuff. I try to mimic it as much as possible. So I try to walk in the light of a professional. So one day, when I become a professional, I won't do anything that I shouldn't be doing.
That's one thing I love about you is your mindset. You have this mature mindset and you've had it for a while as well, being so young and you have like this grown man's mindset on your young shoulders, if that makes sense. Because I did see that I noticed that you was around the national setup for the Panama game, wasn't you? Of course, you wasn't called up to the national side for the string of fixtures in September, but you did make sure that you made use of the opportunity when the guys were on home soil.
Yeah, I remember manage calling me and say, oh, I should just turn up to the hotel for training. And I had Premier League training in the morning. I just message coach and say, oh, I won't be making it until I have to go to the training with the guys. And him just say, all right. Really and truly, that was a big plus for me. Going to training with the guys, with Bobby and Ravel. I was like, it shows that I am still a part of the plan and I'm still a part of the team. You see me? That sense of belonging, I needed that because not being a part of the Gold Cup and then not being a part of not getting a chance to be a part of the first set of games. I know it's a lot of games, but sometimes you just always want to be in it. But it's what's best for the team. But getting called to the training session, it just gave me a sense of belonging, and I needed that.
I love to hear that as a youngster who is part of the squad through the youth team all the way up to the senior team. I love that this current setup is giving you that all important sense of belonging, especially in the pandemic when some of us is just, our mentality and our mental health is a bit unstable at the moment. So I'm glad that you're getting that necessary support.
Pandemic, the pandemic makes it even harder. You just see that what seemed to be clear is just not clear because the next day is unsure. You don't know what's going to happen, so it makes it a little bit harder.
What's been like your technique? What's your strategy to like stay in focus during the pandemic? Have you built up a strategy? Is there something that you've picked up on that you didn't used to do like prior to the pandemic, or have things changed for you recently?
Honestly, honestly, huh? I'm not going to say over the pandemic I was working hard because I was inconsistent. I train this minute, I train one whole week, then I take the next week, and then I train the next week because it was really hard not being sure. And then we were going to when my club started to train, we were just doing a lot of fitness. And then I'm saying, yo, nah, I'm not doing the fitness and the league now, please. Come
Mm-hmm.
here, tell coach that I ramp with my brain. I,
Mm-hmm.
I saying that, yo, I shouldn't be looking at it say, may I train for play Premier League because I must remember that I'm a national player. So that over the pandemic again a lot of excessive weight because I was just at home sitting, not doing anything, playing game, and I trained and I feel like probably it's giving over the field, but that whenever my eating habits weren't right. So again, it's after it was really after the Austria trip that I started to say, oh, I need to start finding back the correct gear and stop fooling around with the pandemic and stop saying the pandemic or this and the pandemic. I had to get my body back.
Very honest. Let's backtrack a bit and focus on two of the players that you've recently mentioned. You mentioned Morrison and you also mentioned Bobby Reed as well. What's both of those players like? Because obviously you've had the privilege of working with the both of them. So what are they like as two separate individuals?
All right, on the field, Ravel is a magician. The things that he does with the ball, you're wondering why is this brother not winning the Ballon d'Or? Honestly, Bobby on the field, Bobby is yo, he's just so smooth. It just it's as if he's gliding all over the place. You know what he's gonna do some of the time, but you don't know. And as individuals off the field, yo, the guys are great. you can always have a conversation with them and they find the right words or is it me that little encouragement. They always if we're training and I'm doing something that they don't see that they think is wrong, they come to me and say, "Yo, Jeadine, this or that." And I remember the other day we were training and I did something and Bobby come to me and say, "Yo, Bobby in the championship, I'm stiffing that up, man. You have to clean it right there." I remember exactly him saying that to me. And I've been doing that and I say, all right, Bobby is correct. I can't be doing that. So I felt it a little bit and tried to make sure that the technique is correct so that doesn't happen anymore.
Perfect. Interesting stuff. Who's that one player in the national team that's up at the crack of dawn, up before everybody else, and goes around and say, guys, come on, lads, it's time to get going. It's time to go to training. Who's that one player?
So Damien is naturally like that. That's Nana, he's naturally like that. He's as if he's the base of the team. He pushes everyone and he tries to make sure we're on time. He's that person.
Explains why he's been given the role of vice captain, then, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's deserving. Well deserved. He's a good leader, a good person. He also you can talk to him about certain things and he always has the words to encourage you or advise you best what to do. So him being vice captain is a big bonus for the money.
Excellent. You touched on training and switching clubs. Of course, you was previously at Humble Lions, which was last season during the pandemic. Back at the Cavs. How was that journey been for you coming back into the Cavs? What was the welcome like? How's the training been going for you?
All right, I went back to Cavalier in 2020, right before the pandemic, in the January transfer window. I played 4 games. I was on, I was worried about going back. I'm not thinking the players will accept me back because I left. But it was something that I had to make a decision. It's either go and do what I had to do, or stay at Umberland and not play. So I made my decision. I went back. The players welcomed me with wide arms. Everything was good, as if I never left. And then everything was good. The pandemic set in. We still talk as players, man. We have good friends in the team, and no, we've been training from August last year. So us being in the semi-final is deserving because we worked hard, running on the sun, hills, all those sessions, unauthorized training sessions that we put in. It all leads up to the semi-final, fitting for us.
I want to know why you made that decision, that bold decision to go back to the Cavs. Because of course you can call yourself a boyhood product of the Cavaliers, right? What is it about the Cavaliers that persuaded you to say, you know what, this is home, this is where I need to be to aid my development?
Coach believes in youth. He believes in youth over experience, and yeah, for a young person, that's what you need. Somebody that believes in youth and not say, "Yo, you're too young, you're inexperienced, you're gonna get where are." You see me? You need that person that'll push and say, "Yo, you're young, innit? I know at the time when you're supposed to make certain moves, do certain things to get you where you want to be in the next 5 years from now." I basically coach to this. The moment I reach 25, I like I done a career, old man. So at 19, 20, that's where coach wants you to be playing on the top flight and pushing it to better and better every time. That's what I needed. That's what I needed. I needed that playing with among my age group and feeling comfortable and welcome. That's what I needed. So I went back to where I felt all of that and I felt at home.
Let's talk about Mr. Speed for a brief period because, like you said, he believes in young players, and you have the youngest squad in the competition in the Jamaican National Premier League. You've got the youngest squad out there. So, what type of person is he like? Because he comes across as being that father figure. Is am I wrong for saying that, or is that exactly how he is?
No, he takes care of. He has his days where he's angry and and cuss, but he's that person. Like, no, he just it's as if he's an extra player to the team. He comes among us and he gives. Some of the time it seems as if he's the biggest drama in the team. Because not for most of the time players look too far and say, alright, players come in and him call everybody because they don't know stuff. And some drama will come in. You know, say, oh, some drama will come in. 'Cause really and truly, he's teaching us to be professionals overseas and not locally. So if he's using a simile, he always say, when we were doing example, when we were doing the fitness, you're running up and down. And he said to the wing backs, if the midfielder them can't run up and down, man, I have a problem, you know. Let's see my wing back them can't run up and down. I'm fire, you know. Because the Salah and train them run up and down. Because Salah and train them and then training overseas. Liverpool training them again. So he always try instill that and say, oh, we are training like Premier League teams. When if he's doing statistical work, he doesn't measure us up against a local team or any team. I remember the other day he used Man City and said Man City make 600 passes in one year and we are make 300. You must say, yo, we need to make 800 and show say, yo, we're better than City. City no good. We're supposed to make more passes than City. So he always that's where he measure the team against the bigger clubs in the world. He doesn't. He tries to let us see that yo the bigger picture is not being here forever, but playing against the professionals overseas. That's where he measures up the youngsters. And if you as an 18-year-old have somebody telling you that if you play for Man City, even if him not literally mean it, but it good for your belief. Say yo, if you continue recording enough, you can get there.
He seems like an exceptional individual, an outstanding individual. Now let's focus on the Cavs for a brief period. What level of TLC does the coaching staff and the coaching setup provide to you guys as individuals and as a collective?
The coaching staff, all right, they don't come across to us as coaches. We're more of a family, and they are the elders in the family because two of the coaches are legends of the club, so they know what it was like to be playing in the top flight for the club and thing. So they just come across as I say, oh, they share their experience and go through the days of the training session. They even play with us in the training session. So they don't really come across us as coaches. They come across us as teammates and friends. But we have the respect for them because we know say they are the coaches, but they don't come across us as slave drivers.
Remarkable. During the pandemic, so the early stages of the pandemic to the current, to the present, what's been your toughest scenario, your toughest stage, and how did you overcome that?
Toughest stage. That means that the toughest stage would be when every time they're saying the league is going to start. First it was November, then it was December, then it was January, then it was February, then it was March. All of that, it was confusing and then it just felt like we're training for nothing. And then all the running that we were doing was making it frustrating. And some of the days when I decided, so we're not gonna train now. Just not gonna train. And then let me say, when the national team went to Austria and we lost the game, I was saying, yo, I wasn't at my best because various reasons and I felt stupid and I don't ever want to feel stupid again. So I use that and say, oh, I have to continue to work. Because at any moment, I can get another chance like that. And I'm not ever want to feel stupid again. So the way to not being stupid again is just continue working and just not watching what is happening with the league or the pandemic.
It's great to know that you're self aware and you're able to pick up on possibly bad habits and how to correct those bad habits. What was the turning point for you where you realized that, you know what, yes, I am in a pandemic. Yes, my morale has probably dipped or isn't at a level where it should be. What was the turning point that made you said, I have to do things differently and I have to move on with positive thoughts and positive actions?
Like I said, the game that we lost in Austria against US, the 4-0, that's the turning point. I felt like I could have done much better. Well, I know I could have done much. Even Alex was saying to me that, yo, me at my best, that first goal, probably might I catch that. And he says he knows that. And I was saying, yo, you're right. But am my fault? That's when I start looking at myself and say, yo, I have to do things the right way and just focus and just leave everything out.
Absolutely. I know you are eager to talk about that semi-final one-leg victory. You've got the second leg coming up on Wednesday. What's the mood like in camp? There must be a lot of excitement, right?
Well, the team, there is always one mood right through, always. Because we're all young and vibrant. So we know our vibes and basically we share similar interests in music, like things I will see on the media. We're all gonna see it and laugh because they're the same age, so it'll be funny too. There's the vibes are even if we should lose a game. Like I remember when he lost to Mount Pleasant, we got training. Coach say him never even bother ask how we lose the match. You know? 'Cause if done to say yo, we just never come and play like we should. And we just come as players and we say yo, that can't happen again. And if we lose that game, we haven't even conceded a goal. We play what we train, we just focus through the 90. We play the game in moments every time. Like we've been trained for do. And then we just play the game now. While we play the game now moments, we do what we train. And always pan out say yo, we'll find the winner. And recently I think we've developed a mentality where knowing say yo, one goal is enough. And the moment we don't concede that we'll find the one goal after we I think we've recently developed that because the last three games that we won are all 1-0 victories. So I think that's something, and I think we're peaking at the right time to go into the final. So we just need to finish what we started and oversee the end of the second leg.
It's quite interesting because you've now inflicted the second defeat for Tivoli. So far, prior to that defeat in yesterday's game, they only lost one time. So you've now gone and doubled that loss for them. So, how did that moment feel, knowing that this is a team? When you look at their record, they are hard to break down. Not the easiest team to go up against. I believe earlier on in the season you drew 1-1 against them, but this time round you got a bit of revenge and you got the job done.
I You see, Tivoli coach is my coach from school. I know his quality. I've worked with him for years at school level, and I've been people like say people normally think that because it's a Manning Cup team, that's where he's a great coach. In fact, tactically he's tactically aware and he knows to plan his training session and prepares his team for tournaments properly. So I know that playing Tivoli is not easy. My team knows it. My coach knows it. Playing Tivoli is not easy. The first game that we drew 1-1, it was our game to win, and we gave it away in the last minute, the last kick of the game. We gave up a goal, and we drew the game 1-1. Yesterday we decided to that not happen again. we came into the game. We scored in the 85th minute. So the game was basically over when we scored. So all we had to do now was just focus for the next 5 minutes and stoppage time. And that's what we did.
I think one thing that's almost guaranteed when you've got the Cavs going up against Tivoli is that element of excitement. That 1-1 draw that you referred to earlier on in the season, that produced 2 red cards. So you can sense that, from a spectator looking on, like these two teams are willing to put up a fight, aren't they?
Tiffany is always wanting to fight, man. Tiffany always want to fight. 'Cause even after the game, they were getting red cards and the game is finished. Because they just vexed. They still want to fight at the match done. But it's just part of it. And then when we come off of the field, the players that were fighting, we all laugh and I say, yo, Jano, joke. Come again Wednesday. So, some of the time I just the game. But it's always nice playing them because they put up a fight physically and mentally. They're not hard. They're not easy to break down.
Yeah, I can definitely sense that. Again, when you look at their track record, prior to your game, they only lost once. So they are a tough team to break down, but you guys have managed to break them down in that semifinal first leg. How you feeling going into the second leg?
Well, I'm just going into the second leg. We just want to make sure that we don't lose the game. We're already in front. Even if the game draw, we know that draw is enough. But we don't want to just go and play dull that we're playing for a draw. If we can end the game as early, then we should. That's what I want the team to do. So we just need to go into training tomorrow and Tuesday. Work on our game and work on whatever weaknesses we had yesterday and build on our strengths, and then we should see what the rest of the semi-final.
I want to focus on your team, and I want to know, as somebody who's overseas and I'm not able to watch the games live like most people who are based in Jamaica, what's the uniqueness of this team aside from the fact that this is a very young squad? What's the uniqueness of this team that keeps you guys so focused? Because you are young and focused like the rest of your teammates.
Most of the team, alright, really and truly, most of the team we've been playing. We know each other from the under 13s. We've won every trophy there is from under 13 coming up to the under 17. They stopped playing the under 20 when it was our time to play it. There wasn't a tournament, but we won everything together coming up. Under 13, under 15, under 17. We won this. No, we never played again in the Super League. But no, most of the team is from that youth setup coming up. So we're playing now. We know each other from then. We know what a busy is going to do. We know what Nico Shea go up on the field. Topi. We know each other. So we trust each other. We don't question each other ability. So if somebody's like just slacking up, we just say, yo, yeah, shake up, fix up that. You see me? Even coach is saying that he likes the mentality that we have because he's here us now getting that we can't be turning over the ball, and he's saying that he likes the argument that we have in that who lives at turnover hotel and who gives up the ball the most. The players are interested in those type of statistics. Who has the most turnover? So he's saying that that's the right direction that we're going. But because we're coming from under 13 days, it makes the chemistry much stronger and it's easier to understand each other. And whosoever joined along the way just fits right in and gets that feeling and understanding what is going on at Cavalier.
That confidence and that unique DNA that you speak of, as you said, and quite rightly so, that you have played together since the youth days, right? You've won multiple trophies with this team. Is this the team, Cavaliers? Is this the squad where the Jamaican national team should be looking and saying, these are the guys that I need to be focusing on for the future? Because you have people who have that conversation saying that, Jamaican locally based players aren't good enough to be in the national setup. But when you look at the Cavs, the quality in those players tells a completely different story.
The quality of the team is something that nobody should question. But the national team is not only made up of Jamaican based players, as you said. The Jamaican diaspora is wide. Sometimes I'm on Instagram and I'm seeing players from Sweden who have Jamaican parents and say, where man I come from. So it's not something that can be said, say, oh, they should be looking at. Yes, there are players there that could make the national team or will make the national team one day, but it's not going to be easy for the players to just walk into the national team as the competition is wide. Because as me say, I wake up this morning and see that there's this strike in Sweden. I mean, I say, where my money I come from? And say, I joke thing that every time you look, there's always somebody willing to come and play for Jamaica. So the competition is wide. And that's why coach always say, oh, if we stop going like we're compete with the man them in Jamaica and compete with the man them overseas, measure up to them man. And the moment we start that, I guess one day when you look in the national setup, you'll mostly see a Cavaliers player, mostly Cavaliers. Because if in the youth teams, I think there's always more Cavaliers player on the youth team. But when it comes to the senior level, we're just not getting there as it.
You will get there, no doubt. I trust and believe that yourself and your teammates will eventually make your way into the national team by numbers with that added balance of the overseas players as well. Let's touch on the overseas players. In terms of competition, how good is it having these overseas players called up into the squads and you can look to these guys and say, these are my teammates?
All right, the games the games are not easy. It might people might sit and say, "Yo, the squad is full of big names, so this team shouldn't lose." But that's not how it goes. That's never how it goes. The games aren't easy. The games are never easy, especially when you travel to other countries. They're some of the time they have their sabotaging methods. It's so simple, but it throws off the game, and people don't understand that. I remember one time we played a friendly in Costa Rica, and on the day of the game, they provided no chicken, just rice. The chicken was the meat kind was late. So I say, yo, a choke thing. You see, like people just think they just go, I will get clean treatment and we'll just give away match them. But that's not ever how it goes. It's really difficult. We have to fight. Nation versus nation is always war. Some of the times we come out victorious, and some of the times we're on the losing end. But the team is strong. You don't see a player in the team bashing whoever or saying or pointing fingers. So what would the team just focus and just know that there are always going to be naysayers and all of that. But the team is fighting, and I believe that we will turn the qualifiers around. 11 games to go. We will turn the qualifiers around and get where we should.
I want to ask you a important question because it's something that bothers me a bit. I know you touched on the diaspora and rightly so, because that's you paying homage to your teammates who are based overseas. How do you feel when you hear fans, not just in Jamaica, but fans across the world, across the diaspora, separating the two? So they're saying that, the locally based players, the UK based players, almost as if we're not out of many one people. How do you feel about the fans creating that segregation?
Alright. At first, it would bother me that people are trying to separate us. But Damien once tell me that. Damien, I remember one time I asked Damien, and he said to me, say, "Yo, I can't watch the comments because if I watch the comments, man, people that fight every day." So I just like I never forget that, and then I say, "Yo, if we are in the camp, there's always good vibes. There's never what I see people talking about. So we just don't pay attention to it. Just ignore it because say there are always going to be naysayers or people are gonna try pinpoint a problem as to say, oh, this is why we don't win that game. I remember once. I remember the other day somebody messaged me and was saying local man, the English man them and the local man them can't agree. I said, I'm real answer this because that person I bring to me right now. That's what that person I bring to me. I'm gonna say, oh, ignore it. Because me, and all the players, we're all in it together. We're one team. We win together. We lose together. We draw together. I'm sure if we forgot to a game and a fight broke out on the pitch right now, nobody wouldn't say that again when it done. Because everybody are gonna jump and kick up if you get kicked up and box up if you get box up. So it's just that in the games then certain things just not click. I wouldn't really win. We not win the fight them some of the time. And that just football on a whole. But people just have to be patient. There are 11 games to go. That is enough games to secure qualification. So everybody just have to be patient and just relax.
What do you want from us as the 12th man? Because you've said that, there have been times in the past where people have come into your DMs and said XYZ, but what do you expect from us as fans?
What the team need from the fans is just support. You can't like, all right. I understand you guys don't want to be hypocrite and say, yo, if we do foolishness, we do foolishness, and that's the truth. But you can't be dwelling on the foolishness from the first game going into the next game. We have to come again and know, say, have to trust us as players to acknowledge, say, yo, we messed up the last time. The next game, we have to do the thing, we have to get the job done. Even the game that is coming in October in the stadium, I think if we could have the fans there in the numbers supporting us, pushing us on and cheering, that will do a whole lot of good. We probably win all the game the 4 up and them I wonder, yo, where the ball game have come from. But them said to divide and rule is the people have to divide and rule to conquer. But if our own people is dividing us, are dividing themselves from us, we're fighting a losing battle. Everybody have to come on board and say, yo, we have fight to the last game of the qualifiers. Because we don't say we can qualify for the last day. It just start and people say, yo, sure, fire coach. That's your this a money, all type of thing. But all that funny enough, the same money gonna tell you for that shit. For the last day, we need 1 goal for qualifying 9 man scored. You gotta run up on the field now and lift him up. That don't make no sense. All I have to do is just be patient, trust the players, trust the coaching staff, and believe, say, yo, we'll get it done. Pray with us and stay with us. We'll get it done. That's all I'm have to do. Just believe. Don't be the one to bash with. Make all go countries, make the countryman them bash with for them people. Cause, you know what I'm saying? When the country them come here, nobody now bash them, Them say, I cast that nafas. Them say, I nafas that, nafas. Oh, God, Costa Rica, nobody say, I said, Blake it, nobody do that. They must them more come like they must support the opponents and then support we. And that wrong. Because they want to kill we when we know win. And yeah, support the next man. Oh, that makes sense. Just need to trust you and believe in it. That's all I'm after.
I agree with you. I think it's very important to be the best 12th man because the 12th man plays a huge role in football. Like you said, if we show up next month for our home game and the fans are allowed in the stadium, you could see a completely different Jamaica. And that's because the importance of the 12th man singing along and cheering on the team. So I hope that there's a change in attitude and you get your wish, the rest of the team get their wish, and fans start to put aside the negativity and just be more positive with the way we treat you guys.
Yeah, I've heard the man them planning. Say, yo, when we go Canada and come back for the last game in March next year, we're gonna have a big party on the field when we qualify. I've heard the players planning it. The players are looking forward to it. Even the English players are they're wanting to be playing in a full stadium in Jamaica. If they can have that, then you'll see the players that you see on TV, and then you'll be seeing live HD, and you say, Jesus, man, a killer. You walk up and down and say, yo, even my boy, you done it, Christian Messi, when you see the man in real life. You have to come and support man them and show the man them say, yo, they're there. That's all I'm have to do.
Well said, well said. Tell me a little bit about Tapa, because Tapa as well, he gets a lot of criticism. One of the criticism that he faces is the way he reacts on the touchline. It seems quite quiet to the fans who are looking on, but what is he like behind closed doors? Is he very talkative? Is he open, you know?
All right, for me, I can always talk to coach and ask him what needs to be worked on. And to the team, he comes, does what he's supposed to do. You can't expect him to react on the touchline because of what he can't control. That would make no sense. The game is already going on. What is he going to do? Stop the game and walk onto the field and say, pass it, let's play this. No. If something happens, he works it. We work on it in training. We talk about it in meetings. If we move forward to the next game, we don't dwell on it. It makes no sense to dwell on it. One thing you know for sure, coach strong. Strong. Because he goes under a lot of criticism for what people don't understand. It's not going into these games. It's not easy. You can go with a strategy and a plan. It doesn't even have to backfire for it not to work. Because on a given day the opponent can just be stronger. You can't blame coach for nothing at all. He picks a strong team, he gets them together, put them on the field. We work, we fight for the game, and sometimes it just doesn't go in our favor. I saw statistics the other day that he's probably the most successful head coach, winning the most games, I think, and whatever. That's the positive that people should look at and believe in. Say, all right, this is the man for the job. You can't I criticize the man. We're supposed to have leadership. There's no you can be shit. I remember when I'm coaching, morning cup coach, them say there are two persons they don't fight with. The person I cook for and the person I drive. The person I cook for can just simple poison you. And the man I drive just turn the car on one tree and jump out the field. You see? And I don't think people say coach you get fired. I don't think that should be it. You see? I just the same as them for doing at the team, them just put in at him and just no say, oh, him are the man will get it done. You can't come in March when him get it done. Everybody will probably want to go down and move, they go kiss him all type of thing. So might as well just give him the kissing and everything from now and just believe in him and low the negativity. Cause that not help. The world already unbalanced. So negativity will just make everything worse.
Absolutely. I like what you ended on there, that the negativity would make everything worse. And that's somewhat an indication that the behavior of the field, so the behavior coming from the fans, has probably played a role in how the players react to things or how the players see out games.
Yeah, let me say. Alright, even if you're playing a game, if I play FIFA and the game I come to the 88 and the 89, I lose or win, you hear the commentators and the fans are trying to do everything they can to make sure that the team see out the game. That is where it's critical. That is where the 12th man is critical. Cause you're out of substitution. The only substitution you have now are the fans. Them and say, yo, I have this. Do this. Kill a boy. You're dead. Some of them think they push the man. Them. It push every player in the world. It brings out the emotion of the sport. And make you know say, yo, we are fight for this. Cause the match done. Everybody get to scream on top of them voice and say, yes, we win. You knew all they are criticizing on them now. And the match done. Are you vex a guy yard? You vex a guy yard, you still do your cuss, you still vex. I bet you cuss are happy and go home. And cuss are vex and go. That make no sense.
I want to know where you get this inner strength from because you are in a community where distraction is just all over the place, right? And that's for any given community. And the reason why that is because of your age, right? So, where do you get this inner confidence from and how do you maximize your focus?
Is it me personally, I see football as my way out. I've never worked a day in my life. Every paycheck me ever get a because of football. So it don't make no sense me decline from doing what it is that makes me earn a living. So I just push towards it. Some of the days them it get rough. Like real rough. I have my friend I have two friends, I just link them and say, yo bro, you know say hey, I made them just a reason about that. Be a madness. Just change my mind from whatever it is me that thing go wrong. Or I'm just put in my earpods. I'm just listen to some music. And then I just change and get a vibes and you know say alright. We go in bed and go train the man. Call it a day. So my time if the other day I lost a relative that's close to me. I'm gonna go to sleep, I miss training a couple times and coach I talk to him and I say, yo, how that ever help me when mom is training? You see me? He must say him understand, say, yo, me I agree, but think about it. Me you know say if my cousin that like is not the first thing. But I forgot training. Him being gone, I still I forgot training. Is it? And then me now go, I slow up things to me. Because me there my me I lose my little fitness and whatever. And then me I go back to play match and then but I just look stupid all over again. So I just me just have known say what nothing known say this right and this wrong. And just stick to the right things. Just so simple.
Condolences to yourself on and your family. I'm truly sorry to hear of your loss, and I'm hoping that you guys are keeping well together.
Where I get you, man. You're not easy, but where I get you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What's your advice to other young players, similar age of yourself, younger than yourself, who are struggling to stay focused? Because, like you said, you've never worked a day in your life, and the reason why you've said that is because you are a footballer and you get paid to do what you do. So, what's your advice for players who are in your position? You know, pretty much living the dream of their 9 to 5 is football, and this is what they get paid for, but they're not as switched on or as focused as you.
Well, I'm not rich. I'm not rich. But it it pay the bills them. I'm have a local pocket change can know say I won't be hungry tomorrow, I won't be hungry the next day. And one day it only can get better from here. The only way it get worse is if you start the worse of things can improve. So the more you improve the better it gets. It's easier to go forward than backward. So might as well just continue going forward no matter how slow it seems say oh it now even if you have a stagnant day where you don't make no progress at all, just don't go back because the next day you can even make a 2 step forward. Just make sure you never make a backward step. Just focus and grind hard. Keep your head down no matter what people are saying, 'cause people are always talk.
Especially if you're doing something good. If you're doing something good, then critics will fly in from left, right, and center. Please believe that that will happen. What's your 5 year plan? What's your plan in the next 5 years? Where do you want to be? Where would you love to see yourself playing? If it's overseas, what country would you like to play in? And also, what club would you love to play for as well?
I would like to play in a Scandinavian country. Um I remember talking to Miller. He's saying that playing in Sweden, it's nice for him. He loves playing in Sweden. I see. Paris in Sweden, and he's over there and he's enjoying himself. He's having a joy time. And I just like seeing Europe as a market where I want to be in, because being in Europe shows that in the older I get, because goalkeepers lifespan go up to 40, I can get somewhere, I can get in the top 5 leagues. But really and truly, what really is being instilled amongst my teammates is that we're young, and even if we ever play Jamaica Premier League for the next year, let's make sure that we are playing at the CONCACAF, the CFU. Because if we are playing at the CFU as some 19 and 21 and 22-year-olds, people can't look over it. Them offices are something that go on here. So, 19-year-old and 18-year-old and some 22-year-old are playing at CFU and win them top flight in them country and are playing at CFU and CONCACAF Champions League and something. So
Okay.
that's our plan as a team for the next season.
Okay. Okay. All the best with your dreams and aspirations. I think you have the talent to go all the way to the top. And I will be watching and cheering you along the way and hoping that your dreams do come true and you turn them into a reality.
Thank you very much. I'll be working hard to achieve them.
I don't doubt that you will. Good luck for the semi-final, the second leg of the Jamaican National Premier League against Tivoli. I hope that you can see this one out and make your way into the final. And if you get into the final, I hope that you go all the way and claim victory, because I think yourself, your head coach, and your team are deserving of sweet victory.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. It's always a pleasure speaking with you. I'm so sorry that it's had to come to an end. We've been speaking for almost an hour, but I have to go and let you go because I know that you did play your semifinals yesterday and I want to give you some rest and I want you to enjoy the rest of your Sunday. So thank you so much for blessing me with a moment of your time, and we will no doubt do this again.
No problem. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Hope you enjoy your
Thank
day
you.
as well. Well, it's
Thank
night
you.
now, so I hope you have a good sleep.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.